Alright guys, how are we?
Who have we got this week, Coach?
We have the one and only Callum Macdonald.
Close friend of mine.
What a guy.
I can't see you.
That's a good thing.
No.
Alright, Cal.
Yeah, all good.
All good.
Thanks.
He's going to tell his story about how he's went from footballer to warehouse manager.
An inspiring story.
Yeah.
From Peterhead to top warehouse manager in the UK.
Most organised warehouse manager in the UK.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
To be fair, he's raging.
Mate, we had a call with PeopleVox last week. So, for anybody that doesn't know what PeopleVox do, they are a warehouse management system who come in, all the products barcoded, all the shelves barcoded. You go about with scanners to save yourself time and staff. The guy said to us on the call, "Sorry, we can't help you." That was it. He was basically saying, I can't, there's nothing we can do. There's no point spending X amount of money on a system that Callum is the system.
Cal is the system.
He is the system.
He phoned me after the call and asked me to go down and work with him.
I mean, you've got to clone yourself and go in about 100 warehouses around the UK.
Yeah, you can't. You're only one Callum, I think, isn't there?
Brilliant. Aye, so Cal, tell us your story, mate. Footballer. Well, I use that term loosely. Could head the ball. Header of the ball. Mate, he's not going to.
Under 15 tournament in Ireland, he scored an absolute worldie.
Used to went to school together.
Went to school together.
Did you two play together?
Nah.
I'm a year older than Cal.
You were at Dundee together, though, weren't you?
Yeah.
But when you were younger, did you play together?
Nah, boys club. Cal would have been Blair Gowrie, but they're a year below me, so you know the age groups work.
Aye.
But even school was only, you played with your own year.
Yeah, aye.
So like at our school, you wouldn't play with they wouldn't mix the years, would they? Really, I don't know. They might have. But
the year, you always had a good school team, or like the boys club teams were always good. I moved to I played in four for a lot of the time. The boys club, boys club at my level wasn't as strong as
names.
Name names.
Is
it this type of podcast? Is that?
If I name names, I'll probably get my head kicked in next time we're up the road. Half of them are all mental.
My year was quite good at school actually. There's a few good players.
How many went? Any boys from there that went full time or went pro? Martin Fotheringham.
Martin Fotheringham. He was very good.
Yeah, very good.
He went to St Johnstone. And I went to Dundee. You were already at Dundee. That was that's three people from
three guys from one school. Decent, I think, for
one school, small area.
So Dundee was your first team then, like this us.
We were kind of at St Johnstone. We're floating out. That's kind of what happened in our area, wasn't it? It was like the three teams were St Johnstone, Dundee United.
You got passed about until somebody took a chance.
Mate, and I literally was like that. It's just like stuck about all three of them until you get released for one, and one says, "Oh, we'll take a chance on him."
It's like that thing I sent you. You're like, what was it to be successful? I feel as though I've just hung about longer than anyone else.
Just hang about as long as you can.
So played boys club in Blair Gowrie, and I trained at St Johnstone, like not for long.
No.
A few
we used to do the community coaching. We went to that, didn't we?
It was more
like a fake St Johnstone.
Yeah, it was like more kind of a.
It was like St Johnstone for Wish. You used to go along, and it was like they had a community.
It was like a kind of a pre.
Aye. When I finished playing, I did the Motherwell one. I coached for the community coaching at Motherwell.
So the guy that took that was called Athol Henderson. And Athel's now just retired. I don't know. I told you the story. So I was with like this community thing for years. I mean, because he used to come into the school and coach all the time. So then he eventually asked me, I want you to come along. So my dad would take me along to Perth like 2-3 times a week. Eventually it would maybe like Callum's parents would take us. And then never ever got the chance. I think I trained with St Johnstone for a little bit, and then it was like, nah, you're not big enough, you're not strong enough, at the level that we require. So this must have stuck with my dad for years, right? So then Athol Henderson's friends my dad on Facebook. So he obviously posted that he'd retired. I'd like to thank everybody over the years for all the help. My dad posted a photo on his page saying, "Thanks for all your hard work, Athol." And it was literally me and holding off Iniesta for a friendly against Barcelona. I'm like, Dad, why you?
I don't know what's more embarrassing, your dad posting that or you getting up the fact you played against Barcelona so early in the podcast. Fuck's sake, man. If I have to hear him talk about playing against Barcelona one more time.
Pick your wins. The small wins, innit? Small wins.
But when we used to go to Turkey, they always used to you play against Messi. You're like, no, Messi wasn't playing.
Yeah, he wasn't playing. He was Copa America.
Always used that. Lied about that.
He just he didn't even say who he played for. Didn't even care. He played. They didn't even ask him who he played for. United. Did you play against Barcelona? He's like, yeah.
Who's the best player you ever played with or against?
Against, Jesus, probably Barry Ferguson, mate. It wasn't Iniesta, I'll tell you that for free.
What about you? Barry's still good for.
He was very
class
good.
On.
Very good.
Barry Ferguson would have been one of them, but.
Tell me about your debut at Dundee, your first start for Dundee.
So just to go back, you were at Dundee and then you right way through youth and then you played for the first team.
Yeah, so boys club, and then we went to, in those days it was an S form or an S signing, which now is like academy or
pro youth, innit?
Pro youth. Yeah. So that would have been maybe 13 or 14.
Yeah, I was 15.
I would say.
So that was the Dundee Pro Youth.
So we would train Tuesday, Thursday nights. We'd have a game on the weekends. School holidays, we would be in. Some school holidays we'd be in like for a full week.
Yeah, they were really good with us, to be fair. First class.
Was that where he got his first nickname, wee man?
What, Car Thief?
Aye, Car Thief. Was that where that came from?
Yeah, that was. He got banned from coming to training.
How old was that? How old?
15. I reckon 15 because I was playing. Because I was so small, they used to drop me back a year. So I was illegally playing in the S forms.
Nobody questioned it.
Not a question. No.
Still the smallest boy on the pitch.
So then basically Callum nicked his mum's car. Bit of joyriding on the farm roads.
Aye.
Is that how you got caught?
It wasn't as bad as.
Aye, everybody has arms and legs on the house.
It wasn't as bad as anyone makes out to.
Robb was
15-year-old nicked his mum's motor.
I never I took the keys and I was driving the car up and down.
What was it, a Peugeot 205?
Is that why he still drives Peugeots to this day?
Yeah, he's got a close affinity with Peugeot.
Thing with that.
So were you on the roads?
No, it was. I grew up in the countryside, so the road up mum and dad's house is like it's just a track. It's not a main road. I shouldn't have been driving a car on it, but so I got it. Stuck in a fence.
You maybe want to mention the coaches that because it was the coaches that give you the nickname.
Gary,
I think these guys just when they've had to adapt over the years. Like Stevie Campbell and Gary Ogilvie, Kenny Cameron, Ray Farningham. These guys were a big influence on our careers.
Massive. It was Ogie that nicknamed me that, Car Thief. Because
they're not just an influence on your careers, they're probably an influence on your life that age. Do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
Like your working life, you definitely 1,000,000%. Like what they install in you for a young age.
Hard working,
you're hard working. Like your mentality definitely comes through in your working life, not just your football life, but then that portrays in your...
I think that's... I never went through youth system, but I think that's something that a lot of footballers say. Like, obviously, we spoke to Lee Mayer and other people that have gone on to do good things after football. Hopefully, we'll be getting on the podcast. But a lot of them say there's a lot of skills that you learn at football, and it's probably instilled from youth team like good youth team coaches that instill these things that you can actually not just use in football, you can use in life. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, your organisation and
that. I would say those maybe what would it have been 3 or 4 years where you're an S signing, like you were learning at that point how to grow up and be ready to leave school, and then you hoped at that point you were going to be offered the YTS, the 2-year YTS. You would play in the youth team, so they were always getting you ready for that. And then when you went to the youth team, then it was more like real life. You were. Like you were earning money, then you were starting to get bills to pay.
That was probably the biggest. I know you, like you say, your pathway was different, but like achieving that full-time contract is probably the greatest like feeling that I ever had. Like in football, was like I would probably say it's probably bigger than actually playing in the first team because like you go from leaving school to going in to tell people at school is like I'm leaving school because I'm going to be a footballer. And I'm going to try and like, that's my job. I get paid for it. 65 quid a week, but I was getting paid for it. Do you know, it's like, and it's
good. That's probably all you think about and want to do for 10 years. At least.
See, and I obviously never went that route. I went a totally different route. I got told, everyone, you'll not make it, you're too old now, you'll not make it, you'll not make it. And then, like, I had the same sort of thing as you, but I wasn't leaving school, I was in a job, and I left to go full time, and that's
that must be class going into your job. Was it Scottish Widows you were at?
But they basically sacked me on the spot because I said I was going to go and play football.
Why were you looking to maybe just like integrate that with the football?
I didn't really know to start with. It was maybe because obviously you train Monday, Tuesday, and then you play Thursday, Friday, and play Saturday. But I was maybe going to keep going on a Wednesday or that, but they just said, nah, you can leave. Like, they just really didn't take it very well. I don't know why. How
old are you, 24?
22 I was, mate. Right, okay. No, sorry, I was 24. Yeah, I went part-time by Hamilton, 22, and then full-time with St Mirren when I was 24 years old. And I don't know if it's the same for you, like when you're younger, but see, when I at that age, I remember just going to training, like laughing. Like I remember being in training one time we were doing, and like I never told any training, but I just remember laughing at myself thinking like, this is dead surreal. I'm like actually playing football for a living. Like I'm getting paid to come and train the day. When I did it all the way up till I was 22, I didn't even get paid for it. Now I'm just in training. Like it took me a good couple of months to sort of get my head around that a little bit. Like
I would say I think about that more now than at the time. I think at the time, I don't know if it's because, like Robbo was saying, well, I said as well that was all you wanted to do. For me, 7 or 8 years old, I started playing football. All I wanted to do was be a football player, and it was all I'd done. So at home, I just practiced on my own. Everything was football. And then when I was doing it, it was almost like, well, that's what I wanted, so that's what I've done. And now I look back and think, my job was to play football. Like that's more surreal. I think now looking back at the time, I don't know if I was maybe overconfident, but it was. I wanted it that badly that I knew I was going to do it. I think
the boys that play in the first team I think it's that mentality of like, you say like sticking around long enough, but there comes a point where it's like, I'm just not going to give up here. I'm just not giving up, and I want it, and it's going to happen. It's like you're almost visualising it's like this is going to happen. Like there was better players than me that never played.
Oh, me as well. Like miles better than me.
Do you know, maybe no miles, but there was just wee things that would trigger maybe a coach in their mind to say, I'm picking him over him. Attitude was probably the main thing. It probably still is nowadays for youth team players. I try and install that into the wee man. Your attitude's everything, because people see
look at that. It's ability can be taught, but can be nurtured. Whereas like attitude can't really be taught.
Body language, body language. Just like I say, Owen on the pitch. I say out the wee man on the pitch, like play like you're enjoying it. Didn't like put your head down and your sleeves like this and just look like you just can't. You're not interested, because people see that.
Again, that's something that goes on in a life, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
If you've got that about you.
I bet if someone comes in the warehouse to work, if you've got an agency staff worker comes in and they come in just like,
you can probably tell like that if they're going to be good or not.
Oh yeah. Well, you make an opinion straight away. Sometimes you can be wrong, but majority of the time, like you're saying, if a new kind of member of staff comes from a recruitment agency, quite quickly you can see they're going to do all right.
It doesn't cost nothing. Your attitude, that's one thing that's free.
Exactly. They've got a bit of desire, they've got quite a good attitude. Straight away you can see that. Whereas, like you say, straight away on the other side, you can tell the ones that can't really be bothered being there.
So going back to the Dundee thing. So Robbo was touching. What was your debut? What was your debut like? And what was it feeling like?
You must have made an appearance before that. I was talking about your first start and relating to who was actually playing. I was on loan. I was on loan at the time.
Well, I came on a pre-season friendly, this previous pre-season. Then I went away on loan to Peterhead for a season on loan. That was when I was just out at youth team, so that was 19.
Was that the year that was the year we played Dundee, wasn't it? When I went to St Mirren, that was my first game for St Mirren. We played
that's
Dundee.
A few years away from that.
Oh, was it?
A good few years away from that.
I'm a wee bit older than you, so I thought maybe that was.
So my competitive debut was Clyde away in the League Cup, but obviously the thing you're asking about, Ravanelli was at Dundee at the time. and
scored a hat trick, didn't he?
Yeah, well,
Was that his first start?
No, it wasn't. No,
I didn't think he'd been there long, mate. I think it was one of his first games, because I was on loan at the time. I was at Wraith Rovers at the time, and he started signing these boys, and I'm like, there's no way in a million years I'm going to get into that team. They're signing Ravanelli, Craig Burley, like Georgie Namzadze was playing.
He was already there, yeah.
Those boys that were already there. It's like these guys are earning fortunes. I'm getting a couple £100 a week. How am I going to get like my way into that, like that setup? That's why I went out on loan, because I'd played the year before. I think I'd made 12 appearances, maybe 3 starts and 9 off the bench. And I'm like, well, I'm 21 now. I hate playing. I hate playing games. So I went to Wraith Rovers for 4 months. And
you came back when the club went into administration.
Went administration. I got a phone call. I was on the way to.
That's when your £200 a week came in handy, right? And you come,
you're damn right. I was on the way to Wraith Rovers. Like, how much are you on? £200 a week. Right, back to Dens. Get you're playing on Saturday, mate. That's how it worked. Literally, these are these wee bits of luck that
like
come
we say
into
all the
it.
time.
It's like,
I think,
well, no, he's going to do a job. He's playing first team. They're now at Wraith Rovers. He's one salary probably comes into it, and they're like, "Yep, he'll do a job for us."
I think we talk about all the time. Luck comes into play a lot in things. Do you know what I mean? It's like you have to work hard, but you have to have those wee bits of luck along the way. Do you know what I mean? Nobody really gets anywhere without a little bit of fortune here and there. Do you know what I mean?
I think where luck came into it for me, more so because you're a year older than me.
It's maybe not luck. It's opportunity. An opportunity arises, and then you've got to seize that opportunity.
Timings as well. Because what I was going to say is, when I left school and joined the youth team, Dundee brought in a new manager, Italian manager, 2 brothers, assistant and manager, Ivano and Dario Benetti, didn't they? And they never gave any young players a chance, really.
Not in the first year.
First year, no.
Not in the first year.
So 2 years ahead of me, you've got a group of boys that have just came out of the youth team, going into the under-21 league, probably ready to start
pushing towards the first team,
to get into the first team. But this new manager's came in, the club's getting all this investment and loads, like the squad was huge. It was all foreign players.
We had about 80 players. If you included like youth team players, with a full youth team squad
easily.
of probably 20.
3 squads of 20 easily.
Yeah, an under 21 squad that would normally be like 10, but you would make up, like the under 18s would go to play the 21s, and maybe a couple for the first team would drop them, but they literally had another 20. And then in the first team, you were talking like 30 or 40 boys. It was just because then there was times that when we were training in the youth team, and maybe the under 21s would be away playing, first team boys that weren't involved at all would come and train with us.
Was there a boy called
Wansara?
Yeah, he was a good player. I remember him for now.
Argentinian striker.
When I first moved up, I remember him.
So what I was going to say was that squad who were 2 years ahead of me and ready to start playing senior football, whether it be Premier League level or not, but they're not getting the chance because of the squad. So then they're at that age where they maybe would get the chance to the Dundee Premier League. They're dropping down to the part-time level, maybe first division, for example. Fast forward 2 years, when I came out of the youth team, manager gets sacked. Scottish manager comes in, Jim Duffy, and it's all a little bit different. The foreign players are still there. They're still there. There's still investment.
They got rid of.
They thinned
it out. Like Callum saying, the management
straight away left. He's having a look at the younger players.
Aye, that's an opportunity. It's opportunity. It's like it was out of necessity because he's like, well, I could go and sign him. Jim Duffy brought in a few boys from like Chelsea youth teams and stuff like that. He'd been like in that lot. So these boys were coming up. And like they weren't better than us, but like I think that quickly was quite. He says, "By the way, we've actually got like 4 or 5 here that we could then like utilise and use."
Made you feel a bit better. They've come for Chelsea and they're not any better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, aye. So what happened with myself was that pre-season when Jim Duffy came in, started to be involved with the training with the first team. And then we had a bounce game. It wasn't a first team friendly.
Is this a bounce game I'm thinking about? No, I'm thinking about. I've got another bounce game.
But anyway, it was against Peterhead, and then from there, Peterhead asked would I be able to go on loan there for the season. So I went away. At first, I was kind of a bit like, I was a bit deflated, if I'm honest, because you start training with the first team and you feel like you're a little bit involved. The manager knows who you are, he's talking to you, and all of a sudden he's taking you in the office and saying, right, I never got a choice. I was told.
I think you take it to heart as well, because it happened with me. Before I went to Wraith, I was going to go the year before, and I actually spoke to Jim Duffy, and he's like, I think you should go out on loan. I think you're going to get minute-inch game time. As soon as they say that, you're a bit like, I'm kind of out of the picture here.
But you've been given your debut under Benetti.
Yeah. For all it was.
No, I know, but still.
But yeah, I was kind of in the, because being a year older than Callum, I was kind of in the picture as well, like probably the position I played as well. But there was just like, lost my train of thought there.
Why don't we see? Like, obviously, we're talking about Dundee, and you play. How many league appearances did you make?
For
Dundee,
I think between 70 and 80.
It's good, man. To be fair,
for a young boy coming through, it's great. Eh?
Half of that would have been Premier League, and then half of it would have been First Division.
It's good.
Tell me your goal in the derby against United. Did you score?
Are you giving me it now?
Was that not a cross?
I'm asking you to put your case forward.
Well, I heard shove. I heard it was Shove's goal.
Steve Lovell.
Steve Lovell made a great run across the front post and got a wee flick on.
Missed it. No, I played right back, and I can't remember how the build up. I think somebody laid it kind of back into my path. I've tried to cross it in. Well, I did cross it in. Everyone's missed it, and it went in far post.
Was that your only goal?
See, as like coming through the Dundee setup, like I was a Dundee United supporter when I was younger, but see, actually, like playing for Dundee, we were all just local boys, and we're like Dundee United had like loads of Glaswegian lads, and it was like they would bring, and it was almost like East v West a little bit. Dundee United v Dundee. It had that feel about it all the time, and like when we got into the first team, there was myself, Callum, Steve McNally played. Even the boys who never played as much, like Dougie and Heggie,
yeah.
Like, and Dougie and Heggie like had background like really were United, like Paul Hegarty's son and Kenny Cameron's son, and but they just like we never really got beat for United, did we? Like I think we were
talking in the youth team or
youth team and first team. I can't remember getting beat often. Like
I remember in the 2 years in the youth team when we done quite well. I think. I played 4 derbies in the first team and 1, 2 drew one and lost one.
Great atmosphere. Always the games are quality. That was our equivalent to like an Old Firm game. Do you know what I mean? It's just like
so from Dundee you went to Peterhead, didn't you? After Dundee.
So yeah,
it's got a statue up there. Peter Callum Macdonald.
Peterhead legend. I've heard.
Peterhead, the blue tune.
Not quite. Yeah, so what happened at Dundee was after Jim Duffy there was relegation. There was administration, there was relegation, and then there was like 2 changes in managers.
That was a tough period, that, because me and Callum were seen as the senior players, and we'd played like 40 games between it. We were like the senior players had been let go. I think Gavray had moved to Rangers, Nacho Novo had left, went to Rangers.
Some good players,
really good, and but they were assisting us growing up as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're the boys who we were looking up to, like for assistance and guidance, and then we were seen as the senior players, and then there was obviously more senior than us, like Bobby Mann and Lee Wilkie, and Lee was getting
Barry was there.
Barry Smith
was a good captain,
but really good.
Yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't have felt personally, as a senior player at that point, I didn't feel like a young player anymore.
Because there was younger players coming in, like the next batch of like Kev McDonald, who had a great career. Paul Dixon had a really good career down south. Scott Robertson was another one, played for Scotland. Like
they came out.
They were coming as well, and they were like literally not even had a chance to go through the youth team. They were literally youth teaming in, right? You say play, and that was it.
Big Kev McDonald. I think he was 16, First Division.
He was a big lad.
He was like a Rolls Royce when he came in for. He just breezed it. He was too good. He was too good for Dundee. You know what I mean?
It helps when you come in and you're 16, 17 and you're 6'3", do you know what I mean?
It's definitely an advantage.
Me and you never had that problem, man, did we?
Definitely. So
Peterhead. Up to Peterhead. So I think, I had friends at Peterhead, so it was quite easy.
You'd been there before as well.
I'd been there before, so I knew that although the the management team was different.
How does that go from, because you're like, I think to explain to people like who are listening is like you're actually going from being a full-time footballer at Dundee earning like alright money, like, to then going to a part-time team, because people are like, so you're at that stage where you've dreamt of being like a footballer all your days, to then like being at Dundee, and then you're going part-time, and then you're going, well, I'm going to need to get like a job now, like, so like how is like the crossover? Is that a tough period, or is that like, well, I actually quite enjoy this period, because you were part-time for like playing for Peterhead for a long time, you were Peterhead captain, whereas like I played part-time for Brecon, and I found it really tough from going from like full-time to, I just didn't enjoy it. I could have
would weren't playing well either.
No,
injured
but that was obviously a bit later. But like, how does that crossover period go?
I can see how some players would find it difficult, or do find it difficult. I like, remember I was saying I had the year on loan when I was 19. So my kind of training schedule that season would have been Monday with Dundee, Tuesday morning Dundee, Tuesday night Peterhead, possibly off Wednesday. Not always.
No, always.
Sometimes
on the
on
youth
a
team.
Wednesday.
You'd have kit to do, mate. Me and Callum were kit.
Well,
men
we're
at
out the youth
Dundee.
team there, but you're not a first team player. You're kind of, there was an under-21 league.
That's
so
right.
You know, you were still training with the under-21 squad, or maybe the first team. Thursday would be the same, morning Dundee, Peterhead at night. We didn't actually go, it was in Aberdeen though, the training, so it wasn't too far. And then Friday back to Dundee again. So I knew what the nighttime training was like, the travel up from Dundee up to Aberdeen to train and back, and so I had a year of that.
It's a mission, isn't it? When you think about it, it's a lot of like travelling, and because at the end of the day, you're travelling. You got to be. At the end of the day, you're just not travelling. You got to be fresh. You got to be able to play. You got to be able to play at a level as well.
But we travelled, so it wasn't like me. Well, Dougie, who we're speaking about, was also on loan with me on the same season. So we're doing the same thing all week, all season, but we're travelling up with the Peterhead players who are based sort of South, Dundee, Fife, Edinburgh, Glasgow. So you're hearing them saying, "Oh, I'm running late getting away from work," or "I'm in my work at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Do you know, on your way back down the road, I'm up at 6:30, I'm starting work at like this." So you kind of know at that point. And then I think I maybe always had it in the back of my head that would be me at some point. You know, if I was going to be realistic, it was probably going to be me at some point. So I took to it okay, I would say.
So what was it? What were you working as when you first did it?
Well, I never had a job for a while. So it was just kind of chilling out for a little while.
Did you work in SSE for a bit?
Aye,
do you know what somebody said to me last week? Callum Macdonald, he worked in SSE, and I'm like, nah, I never.
I did.
He says, and he called you a lazy bastard. He said, he used to just sit with a pen on his top lip in the office, no bothering his arse. And I'm like, that's no Callum.
That does not sound like
Callum. That's what I said to him. I said, I'll ask him, but I'm not sure if he actually worked at SSE.
He was a lazy bastard.
I know. Give him one of them, dig.
Maybe he's been pulling the wool over our eyes. You go in the warehouse and you sit with a pen on his top lip.
No, it doesn't sound like me, but it is true when I worked at SSE, to be honest.
Aye, they done think who that was again. Who was it I was speaking of last week?
They would do kind of training, and they would listen back to your calls. So like they would take maybe say 5 or 6 in it one afternoon a week, and they would like play the calls that you've done, and then it'd be able to tell you, right, like deal with that part quicker, or ask that question, or you should know that. Do you know what I mean? So that it's more efficient. So my call comes on, doesn't it? And then speak to the customer, and then I need to put the customer on hold and speak to somebody. And it was boiler cover. So you're arranging like appointments for service and stuff like that.
Like that's, people didn't realise that is a mad difference for being a full-time footballer.
Yeah.
Mad.
So from putting the customer on hold, I need to phone like somebody in a different team to book the thing. So it just turned out it was a guy who I knew and he liked football. So me and him have started speaking about football from the weekend for like 2 minutes. The customer's on hold, and then I'm in the meeting with everybody, like the training thing. Like, well, Callum, you need to kind of deal with that. But it was my cousin's
supervisor's got that on playback. Callum,
It was the supervisor that was telling you.
It was my cousin's wife, Kath, who was my manager. She'd give me the job, so it was okay. But I took that, or I'd done that because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I'd had maybe 2 or 3 months maybe of just doing nothing. So
just playing.
I was
going to Peterhead.
I was just
training.
I was just training.
You're still acting like a full-time player, really.
Not really, because I was like just lazing about the house. I wasn't doing any extra training. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that part wasn't good. I like working. I didn't really want to work in a call centre. I like being sort of on the go and out and about more. Excuse me. So I done it for a few months, sort of over the summer. And then I'd been speaking to the guys that I played with at Peterhead. They obviously all have jobs, part-time club. So one of the players, Jamie Buchan, he got me a job with an oil company in Aberdeen, which, like at that time, the oil industry was
booming, wasn't it? Yeah, it was booming.
It was well known in Aberdeen, and he got me a job there working for an oil company. So I moved up to Aberdeen. And then I stayed at Peterhead for
many games you play for Peterhead. Must have been a good couple of hundred anyway.
I think it was over 200 altogether. But then,
at that time, that was when Rangers won the lower leagues and stuff like that, and you played against.
That was a bit later on.
But you still got that experience of like playing against Rangers, full houses, and playing at Ibrox and all that. So we
played Rangers the first league game when they were.
That's right. I remember that game
when they were moved down to third division. We were kind of the opening game of the season. So that was.
So that takes you on. How did you get involved? Be inspired?
So basically, you went from there really working on offshore and being at Peterhead, and then you obviously came into Be Inspired, didn't you? So how did that transpire? Injuries.
So I snapped my cruciate ligament, and had the operation, done the rehab. Felt I got really, really fit, really strong. Like I would go gym in the morning, gym at night, and work in between. So I'd done that right through the rehab. So I'd honestly, genuinely put a lot into getting back fit. So I'm ready for the next pre-season. This was like maybe the October when I'd done that, and it was just in training. It wasn't even a tackle or anything. It was I was just on my own. Just my kind of weight landed and twisted my knee, snapped it. So I was ready for the next pre-season. I'm doing the pre-season, and then it's actually Ross County. I played a half at like my first game sort of back, and that went totally fine. Felt good. And then the following pre-season game, I started that one, and about 20 minutes in, went for a header, and when I've landed, twisted my knee again and snapped it. The same knee. So
people don't realise how much work you put in to get back fit. Injuries.
It's a dark place as well.
I know injuries are part and parcel of the game, but people didn't realise how much it affects you mentally. Just to try and keep yourself because after that you're like, well, I've got to go again. Mm-hmm. But then you've got to start.
The second time I never.
But then
it was almost like I was a bit.
Were you a bit resigned to the fact?
A bit defeated. The age I was at that point.
You've got to start then, but you've also got to start thinking about your working life as well, Carl.
That's what I was thinking about at that point.
How am I, at the end of the day, people have got bills to pay. Mm-hmm. But we weren't earning mega money. It's a great lifestyle for what we do. I wouldn't have swapped it for anything, but at the end of the day, you have to.
Not at all. So when I went up to Peterhead and I got the job in Aberdeen, it was great. I enjoyed the work, I enjoyed the job I had.
He's a liar, mate. Remember, he was in Be Inspired. He used to get...
No. Whoa. You're thinking about this isn't offshore.
Aye, this is
this part of it.
Aye, okay. This is
So it's miserable.
Remember.
I was just gonna go to fast forward a bit. So Cal would be in
dreaded phone call.
You'd sort of be working between you'd be working between offshore and Be Inspired, wouldn't you, at the time? So you'd obviously be 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and then when you were coming in, because we were so busy at the time, you'd just be coming in,
lend a hand, lend a hand.
And I remember he'd be in and he'd be full of banter and that, and
give it a bit of chat.
He'd get the phone call and be like, "You're going offshore on Monday," and you just see the big man showing
the big slump over the lunch table.
Walking out, "You're right, Cal."
No. I mind the time he was getting paid for it was about 7 weeks. He was he was back.
You're saying 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off, but it wasn't.
No,
it was
I just meant that was kind of like.
It was it was more of a standby. You were meant to.
Honestly, I'll never forget Cal when he got that phone call.
That phone call, and he'd be like, look at us. He says, "Are we busy enough yet? Can I get a job?" Please, I need a job. I want a job.
We held off for a couple.
We
held off for a couple more phone calls because they were too much fun, and then we brought the big man in.
So, what kind of stuff did you do at Be Inspired to begin with? I know obviously your roles progressed over the years, but what was the?
Well,
was it? It was.
It was
kind of you've kind of been in it.
It was so different back in the day. Coming in, it was just an absolute shambles, wasn't it?
So the reason I came in to help out was because I was working offshore and I was having a lot of free time, downtime really, and I came in to sort of help you out a wee bit. And
it was just packing orders and
tidy up the mess that you two had got yourselves
in. Blame us.
To be fair,
can't believe you're getting the blame.
It was a messy office.
What was that? The first
Abercrombie.
one. Abercrombie. Yeah. Clydesman wasn't much better.
No. Clydesman was worse. Remember, I electrocuted myself.
You are a clean freak. I will give you that. I watched you at your house last week folding tea towels on your living room floor. By the way,
that's your forte. The one that being tidy.
Mate, he had the tea towels and he was folding them over. And then he went like that, and then he went like this, and he patted them down.
Inside.
Tucks them inside, and then he sits them on top of the microwave. I'm like, you're a fucking weirdo.
I can't believe you brought that up.
That's what you've been doing it in the warehouse for years, man.
No.
That's why he's so good at folding the returns. Going off what Cairo said a couple of weeks ago, it's just like, the returns just got made aside. We brought Callum in, and Callum's just like folding.
Returns buzzing.
You can tell the guys what.
That's our job, isn't it?
That was. Everybody in the youth team have got jobs of I don't even think it happens nowadays. Like YTS youth team players.
No,
we're cleaning boots, so you're allocated 2 or 3 players, first team players. Right, you've got to look after their kit, their boots, their shin pads, flip flops. Has to be organised every morning at their place. Clean boots, specifically whatever they want. You look after them. You get a wee tip at Christmas. So it was always good if the list at the start of the season was. Oh, you've got Barry Smith. Brilliant. He pays.
You want a Scottish player.
He pays £100 at Christmas. Nicky Banger, he's another £100. Brilliant. I'll get a good Christmas this year.
Yeah.
And then, if you got somebody that was just a nightmare, it was just.
The foreign players didn't really know.
Nah, they didn't get it. So
that was what happened.
But we done.
Did they make you do? Because at St Mirren, the young boys got tips and that, but they were made to perform for them. So they had to come in the first team dressing room, sing songs.
When I went to St Mirren, we still done that. When I went to St Mirren, we still done that.
I seen
brilliant. So funny.
Well, somebody was a naked press up, a pound of press up.
I remember.
That stuff just wouldn't happen anymore.
I remember by Mark.
It still goes. I've been out the dressing room for that many years, but
must do, mate. I always remember Mark Doherty and Robbie Weir actually had the boxing match in the first team dressing room. We got introduced them. They were like, because Mark Doherty was did the boxing and that, and I remember Mavis, Mark Riley introducing it because he took the young boys and he introduced them at the first. We were all on the benches banging the walls and then they go, in the red corner, Sparky, and then he's like,
he's coming in, he's ducking and diving.
Face of the channel,
I think every
Robbie
team
Weir.
must do the same thing. Remember we had it.
Glove each, wasn't it? That was the thing. If anybody arguing on training, the coaches would be like, "How are you?" Glove each back in the dressing room. So the door would get locked. Boys are standing up on the benches. Glove each, and it was lucky if you got the left hand glove or the right hand behind the back, and the boys.
Do you
not
remember
swinging.
The one with Marsh and the American goalie?
That was on YouTube. That got put on YouTube. Somebody leaked. Somebody leaked that.
That was like you're saying, it was
When are we
that
was
introducing
a
this
prop.
sort of stuff in the warehouse, mate?
Yeah.
That's
Kind
what
of
I want
mocked
to know.
up like a
Maybe
proper
need it.
boxing match.
Can we get that in the warehouse?
Glove each.
Glove each.
They've got like a. He's still like I know you're saying like the places were messy before, but we've got the wee set up in the warehouse with the head tennis and stuff like
head
that.
tennis,
It's
golf
always
net,
been a.
head
Can't get
tennis.
a game in. Everyone's left. Can't get a game of head tennis.
That's
no.
it. You need to just hire somebody with a football background. Get a player.
Remember we tried to do that to start with. We tried to create that dressing room atmosphere within the warehouse. Just obviously that's something you miss for football. So we took a lot of part-time players. There was obviously Cal, boy Mike for Thailand,
Yeah,
Steph
Steph,
McCluskey,
Sean.
Sean Dixon, Brian Wharton, who's actually sort of come back recently.
yeah.
We
Morgan
tried to
as
create
well.
that atmosphere.
Morgan,
Morgan, Neil. And
He was
it was good. It was
for a long
good.
time.
It was a good atmosphere, but yeah, it was a bit tricky at the same time, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, what we were going back to when I started. It was just kind of
We're all just winging it full, mate. It was just like
organising and helping out
Organised
with
chaos.
the stock a wee bit, and that was how I probably
Progressed.
took on the job that I
Can we just find out
maybe
if you
maybe
enjoyed or good
explain.
at?
You could kind of explain to people like what do you do on a daily basis now? What is your role and what's your job and like how do you keep things running sweet so that because I think everybody that does order from Be Inspired are like, Jesus, she's actually sent. I got an email that says stuff's been sent out already.
Rapid to get
It's
some
quick.
rapid,
Like customer service is good. Everything like that. It's
And
just
you obviously run all that. Do you know what I mean? Customer service warehouse.
I do now. Yeah. I don't know if I actually enjoy being like the manager. Do you know what I mean? I like doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that actually being the manager now and having to think, right, we've got a delivery today. Am I going to do it, or have I got time to do it, or is somebody else going to organise the delivery, check it all off?
Almost like you
check
said
that it's
before, you like
accurate?
your kind of action, isn't you? Like you like to do things rather than like be organising the doing. Do you know what I mean? But obviously that role's changed.
So
for you.
the main thing every day is that the orders are packed and sent out to the customer on the day that they should be.
Yeah, like a lot of other companies, other e-commerce brands, a lot of them maybe like do third party like fulfillment, whereas like we are very much hands on, like picking and packing's done, it's distributed from our warehouse all over the world. So it's not just UK orders you're sending, is it? You're sending like
Europe, America, Australia, and everyone's order is sent out on the day that it should be. Apart from the kind of Black Friday time of the year, it's a bit difficult to keep on top of that. But last year we done not too bad.
We've been
weren't
doing
too far
better and
behind.
better, weren't we? I remember the first year when we were in Clydesmill and we were like 2 weeks behind. It was a shambles, man. Many
I
orders.
can remember helping at that one.
It just
and
blew
was
up
so
that
far
year.
behind,
we were just grabbing anybody that could pack an order. Like there's graphic designer like Hoggy was coming down packing orders. Gary and
That's
Eddie.
how Gary ended up.
Yeah, well, Eddie's as well. They were coming in to help out.
Friends of friends,
friends
of
of
family.
friends. Can you bring anybody in to help out? And then it turns out Gary was like, oh, do you know how? I worked in the bank. I can work a computer, right? Customer service, go. And that's just kind of the roles developed from there. So
and other things that we would be doing on each, like they counting stock and returns, obviously. Customers want refunds, they want exchanges if something doesn't fit them, or it's.
So are you involved in football in any way still? Is there how do you bridge that gap now between football to working life? To obviously like you still kick a ball, but I guess just like I know you do, but you can tell people that.
So I there was a spell where I was I struggled. I kind of got to me a wee bit.
Like mentally.
Yeah, maybe. I missed football. I missed training. I missed playing games.
I missed keeping fit. That's like being really fit. Like I know, like had injuries and stuff, but that actual feeling of that, being fit, like that's the bit that I struggle with.
I missed like the involvement, everything about it. And then after a while, because of my two injuries, I'd decided to stop. That's why I went offshore, because not having the football income and doing the same job I had in the workshop with the oil company, the offshore was a way of sort of
bumping that money up. Yeah, sure.
So the way it kind of worked out offshore, I didn't really enjoy it. I couldn't get my head into it. To probably make it a success for myself. Luckily, I was able to come and firstly help out with you guys, and then be offered a permanent job. So that was good. And then from there, would it have been from there, or was I still offshore? I think I was possibly still offshore, and I think we maybe had a game of 5-a-sides or a stupid kickabout or something. Yeah. And the first time I touched the ball or done anything for quite a while, like after my injury, and my knee was fine. I was always kind of...
You get wary of early guys.
Yeah, because I thought, well, I need to work offshore, I need to earn money, so I can't have a dodgy knee.
Yeah, you need to make it work, don't you?
And then, so I've had this kickabout and my knee was okay, and I thought, I'll try a bit more, and then I ended up getting back to a junior team.
Gartcairn
juniors in Airdrie, yeah. And then from there, that was kind of a test for myself. Like, is my knee okay? First of all,
that's one thing I'd say about Cal. He probably loves football more than I do. Like, I like watching football and stuff, but Cal loves football.
I prefer playing and training to watching it. Like, I wouldn't say I'll watch a lot.
I watch a lot.
I'll have it on. I'll have it on the TV. Just
I'd rather play football.
I kind of know what's happening, but I would I'd have a kickabout in the garden over watching a game of Sky.
Obviously support Liverpool and that in the Champions League, but like boys, we play fives every Wednesday, and I'd go and play fives rather than watch the game on the telly. I'd rather be playing it. Do you know what I mean?
So I played the games at Gartcairn, and it was brilliant. Loved it. I still play football now with a couple of boys from that team, over 35s now. Knee was fine, and then I phoned the manager at Peterhead, was still the same, Jim McInally. Phoned him, explained, look, I think my knee's all right. Can I come in? And
I'd forgot about that.
So. You got yourself back senior.
Can I come and try pre-season? And I wish I'd done that like 10 years previous when I was leaving Dundee. I kind of accepted leaving Dundee too easily. I always feel like I like. A year and a half before.
That's the thing, is as you've got more experienced head, looking back through years, I wish I'd done that a wee bit better. I wish I'd done that.
There's always something, isn't there? But
that's what I would say to people, is don't be scared to like ask someone that you know.
Even don't be scared to back yourself. I
mean,
that's
bad.
You probably never backed yourself.
Probably investing in yourself as well. Like when we think about like when we used to go home after training, you used to be home for, especially when we were in the first team and stuff like that. We were home for 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
We ended up spending the afternoon in the bookies.
I don't really regret anything, because I am where I am, and I'm really happy where I am. But like, one thing, if I could go back now, is I would get myself a personal trainer, and I'd maybe get a dietitian, or I'd get like meal preps or something, just so I was eating better, and I'd definitely make sure I got my. That's the only thing I would invest in.
A majority of sort of ex-football players our age would say the same thing, and I feel like
the thing is the technology of like meal prep, like nutritionists and PT, like this stuff
that wasn't there.
Like
when
you can quite easily access that from social media now by going on TikTok or Twitter and just search what you want. And then
I think having a personal trainer make you accountable is good. I think that's a good thing.
The clubs didn't have these things.
Back then, there wasn't even really. There's millions of personal trainers. Back then, there was none.
True, very true.
I think you can say these things weren't there and they weren't a choice, but the things that were there and were the wrong choices, like going to the bookies instead of doing, like, I was doing that more than I should have. And you're told at the time, don't do that, do this.
That was one of the reasons I moved to play in Thailand. It's just simply
guys,
because
I think we're running out a bit of time, they were saying, but I'd like to ask Cal one question, because obviously over the years there's a few things we've done and we've really enjoyed them, and I've got a few good memories of Cal, and I would just like to ask Cal, over the years, what's some of the best memories you've got for being inspired?
Night out.
Yeah,
that's where I was going with this. Night out.
Callum and a night out.
I think when you asked me to come over to Magaluf with you,
that's where I was going with this one, wee man.
I forgot about that. The pool parties were class, weren't they? We sponsored Beach Mallorca.
Well, I never went to any of them.
Tell obviously listeners how we like. Obviously we could tell, but just tell what was it like for your point of view? Because for me and Robbo's point of view, it was brilliant doing that for you guys. But what was it like? What was it like? What did you do? And what was
a small tight team in it? It was like I think
massive team. There was loads.
I bet it was people brought their partners and stuff like that at the time.
Okay, yeah.
So what happened? Tell.
Well, I was still working offshore,
Were you offshore at
I
that
wasn't.
point?
I hadn't
You got a
joined
freebie?
Aye, yeah.
What? Who authorised that?
No, it's embarrassing, man.
Wow. So I had to get another knee operation, so I couldn't go offshore.
It's because you were jumping in the pool and hurting yourself at the bottom of the pool, man.
No, so I had to get a knee operation at the end of the previous season, and by the time that had come round, you guys were planning this trip, and I was always, I don't know if I can go, if I'm going to be back to my work or whatever. Anyway, I wasn't fit enough to go back to my work. I was fit enough to.
Oh, he was fit enough, all right, for Magaluf.
Honestly,
Magaluf
I'm
2017.
just going to cut to there was two bits of that trip I enjoyed the most. So we basically got into this. We did like a sponsored BH Mallorca. So it was like every sort of Wednesday, Friday, was it? It was a Be Inspired days. So they had these cabanas and they did bottles and stuff like that. And they had celebrities went over. So I think it was like boys like Mark Wright and all these celebrities in Hello Magazine and all that. It was quite a big thing.
Cal and Hello Magazine.
So we were like, right, we'll plan it one of those days. So I think we went for a few days. So we were going to I think it was BH New York on a Friday or something. So we went and we had like a booth there and obviously the pool and that, we all had a few drinks and that, and we turned around and like we're all in cabanas like drinking bottles and having a good time. We turn around, Cal's in the pool, the tunes are on, he's splashing the water.
It was like your own wee bit you had.
Aye.
The lifeguards
That's
like,
because
mate,
nobody would go near him.
you're not allowed in there. Cal's just like loving life.
Everyone's dancing about and he's splashing.
Remember they were trying to chuck me out, and I kept saying to you, Robb, they're trying to chuck me out again.
Yeah, I was raving. See you later, mate. You've had enough.
And then the other bit was like, do you know how you go down the big flumes? There's a big flume, and at the bottom there's like the wee splash bit, like the wee water that's like maybe like 10 centimetres deep. He's dived head first in the 10 centimetre deep thing. He comes back, obviously I didn't see it, he comes back, he's got like a cut on his lip and his head. I'm like, mate, what happened to you? I just tried to dive into the bottom of the chute there.
I've been known as Callum's babysitter on trips abroad, to be fair.
How many places have you been thrown out of a night out, mate?
A lot.
No, for a while.
You almost got thrown at my wedding.
Because you didn't go out anymore. That's why you
got thrown at my wedding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're a riot. Like, this is going pear shaped.
It was a riot.
No, I haven't done anything like that.
Nah, you're a good lad.
Changed.
You're a good lad.
The last couple of years.
Anything else you'd like to get off your chest about being inspired or anything like that?
No.
I think I would just like to say, like, thanks for your help over the years. Like, obviously, like, I've known you for a long time, so it's been class. That's one thing I enjoy is, like, say, having my mates, like, staying involved or being involved with the company or anything.
I think
like
it's
that.
different. Quickly, like, I know we need to get out of here, but you're saying, like, the person whoever grassed on me with the call centre, like, I feel you're my friend, so I'm going to probably work harder, I think.
Yeah.
I get that.
Do you get what I mean?
I think we said that for the beginning, like obviously loads of people have come into the business and they've really jumped on board, and we say it's everyone's business, not just me and Robbo's, it's everyone's, because whatever work goes out, it reflects what you are, sort of thing. And so, but like, I think initially back in the day, it was like me, Robbo, Amy, my missus, Cairo, you and Mike, who's left, but they were the sort of the first people in the door, and that's, without those people, I don't think the business would be where it is, because you all really took the business on, and we all went in the same direction. We were all wanting the business to do so well.
It got busy so quickly. When you're saying that little group of people there, that, like, when I first started helping out, that was kind of who it was. Mm-hmm. And by the time I joined permanently, like, there would have been more than double that.
Yeah,
I would say,
sure.
Easily.
Yeah,
and it
just kept the
going
culture going, didn't
they?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, we need to wrap up, time up, but thanks for coming on, Cal. It was class.
Cheers, Cal.
No problems.
Top man.
Top man.
Cheers, boys.